Hi, I'm Kim,
I'm Torra.
and welcome to our podcast, Kicking It with Kim and Torra. As you can see, we've changed the name of the podcast, and we've also developed a new format. What we're going to do moving forward is to have four topics for each episode, and we will talk about each topic for 15 minutes. We welcome suggestions for topics. Now everything's wide open. It doesn't have to be restricted to any particular area. So if there's something you'd like to hear us kick it about, suggest it in the comments or shoot us an email at kimandtora@gmail.com.
Absolutely. And we want you all to give us anything you want on your mind that you're thinking of, that you want us to give an opinion of. We cannot wait. We have lots of opinions on a lot of topics. So definitely hit us up, let us know.
Okay. And I'm going to start the timer in a moment. Our first topic this episode is whether we're less creative. And if so, why? If not, why not?
And the reason why I like this topic a lot is because scientists are saying literally that we are less creative as a whole, as a people. And I don't believe that. I believe it looks like that because everything is at our fingertips. We can just go wherever we want on social media or on the World Wide Web and just find an answer or whatever, or take something. I don't think that. I really think we are very creative, but I think a lot of people are suppressing it because they know it's out there and it can be stolen. Because there's ideas that I have, and I feel like as soon as I put it in my phone or on my computer, the exact detail for detail that I'm thinking of appears in somebody else's life. And I'm thinking, how is that possible? Exactly. Like there was this thing I wanted to create a swim cap for black girls because I love to swim, but I hate getting my hair wet because it just takes forever for us to get it to the oils back in.
Mhm.
Literally, I wrote detail for detail of how I wanted this to get started, and I actually wanted us to do it together, you and I, because I know you know how to do the wraps and everything.
Yeah, that
Literally, it
would
popped
be
up on my
great.
phone 2 days ago. It popped up on my phone.
You
Two
mean
days
about the Olympics banning them, or
about
you had a different
there's
one?
a black girl who created, which I'm very proud of. And so just because her and I shared that same great idea, it popped up on my phone that it was exactly how I had it pictured. I wanted satin on the inside, the outside was silicone, but the edges were silicone. So it would suck to our skin, but our hair would still be, because if you try to put on a regular skin cap on this hair, it doesn't
Oh,
work.
no, it's not good. We should consider doing it anyway. What
Of
I've
course.
learned over the years is that there's always room for more. People may like our colors, our
Yep.
styles, or whatever better. We may get a higher quality manufacturer.
Absolutely.
So we should really still look into
I
it. I think
definitely would
it's a
love
great
to still
idea.
do it. I definitely have, all those other inventions the other two that I really want, I'm not putting those anywhere near social media yet because I'm like, wait a minute, I'm just gonna go old school and keep writing stuff down, even though I know we
No, I
upload
think
everything
that's
to
a great
the platform.
idea.
Yep.
I think that's a great idea. Just write it down, stay away from social media. So the scientists were saying that because the computer is now putting everything, or our phones are putting
Yep.
everything at our fingertips, that we're less creative.
And it's saying that we're less creative because no matter what you think, everything is being uploaded into us. So everything that you put on these internet bound objects is being sent throughout the world. It gets its idea from just what I said. You have an idea tomorrow, of an earring you want to invent. It has been put in there and it's being sent to this girl that, because they have a million people who have sites that they go to every day. You know what I'm saying?
So just so I'm clear, how is it being uploaded? The phones and I know that we know that the
Yeah.
phones and the internet, Facebook,
All
all that stuff are monitoring us. But how is it that it's being uploaded into us once we?
um flashes through like advertisement or commercials, anything that anything that flashes your mind. So like say if you're sitting around and you're hungry, um literally it's almost like an algorithm that knows at 6 o'clock towards normally hungry, so I'm going to throw out some Burger King commercials, McDonald's commercials, because that's what she's sent on her DoorDash. She doesn't get Chipotle's, she doesn't get sushi, she does, fast food like Burger King. And so it'll actually
Pop
flash
that
on
up
my, yeah,
around
if I'm
that
holding my
time.
phone, which it knows I'm holding it, or it knows I'm on my computer, it will send flashes of anything, colors, like even the McDonald's red and yellow colors,
Oh, wow.
or it's so intricate. It was amazing to me that I was like, wow, how did we get here? So that's why I felt like we're still creative. It's just that somebody has taken our creativity, honed in on it, molded, and given it back to us, you know. So, there's some people who do not do the internet at all. Like they don't do cell phones. They still have yellow pages, and they're probably going to be a lot better off than the rest of us, because right
Mhm,
now I don't know how to go anywhere without Google or Map or Waze or
mhm,
whatever. Like
mhm.
I used to know how to read a map. Right when I started knowing how to read a map, this came out, and I don't need to learn anymore.
I can still read a map, but I don't think that I'm as connected to the internet as you are. I don't get those kind of
Okay.
images, ads popping up like that. Sometimes if I say something in conversation to somebody else, then I find that ads for that may come up on Facebook, but like there's no prompting for a time to eat or a thing to eat or a place to go or anything like that. But I do use the internet, so I'm not saying that I'm not connected at all. At all, I'm not as connected, and I actually don't think that our creativity has been lessened. I think that we're still very creative. Look at everything that people are doing now. That because the internet, um, TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, all those
Mhm,
things, at least for those of us who participate on those platforms,
mhm.
have to be very creative in terms of putting out content
Yeah.
in order to bring
Yeah.
people in. So
Yeah.
we're constantly creating
I
content
think
or
so.
thinking about content. Um, People are starting businesses now,
Mhm,
coming up with new inventions, especially even more so now with COVID, because jobs are closing and people are strapped for money.
and
So
not going back to work either.
and they're not going back to work. So I think that we are still quite creative, but that it may not be in the same ways that we were previously. And for some reason, maybe we just don't realize it or it's not as visible.
I think it's just not as visible. And I also think people are getting smarter to keep their creativity more personable. I don't think they're putting it out there like, because I think everybody's realizing it now that if you have a bright idea, if you put it out there in a negative way, which is on the social media, it's only when you're ready to sell it or ready to present it is when it's time. But before then, I think that people are starting to keep things hidden. I can't be the only one that noticed that. Like I went to Target today and we were getting sunblock, and my niece had one that was like a banana smell. And I literally said that to my daughter. I was like, oh, I wonder which one was the one she had with the banana smell. I have seen 3 commercials since I've come home.
Oh
On
my
my
goodness.
phone, 3 commercials. On my TV, 5 commercials, back to back. On
Oh
the
wow.
television, that's when I was just like, and I know I didn't see any sunblock commercials
Yeah,
before.
I mean, yeah.
No.
I don't watch television all that much, but so they couldn't do that to me, but they could do it on Facebook and
Mhm.
they could do it on Instagram, but I don't get um Instagrams that are really so targeted towards the things that I'm interested in. They
Isn't
think
that
they
weird?
are. They think they are because they'll show me stuff um for crystals
Hmm.
and stones and incense
Hmm.
and gold jewelry.
Hmm.
They show me stuff that they think they're enticing me with, but I just don't happen to be interested in any of that stuff.
Wow, that's
Not from
amazing.
Instagram. Yeah, not from Instagram. It's probably because of the kind of content that I put out. But look at all those dances people are creating. That's creative as I don't know what.
Yes. Yeah.
Everybody wants to write a book. I
Yes.
mean, I just
Yes.
think that people are doing things left and
Look
right.
at
So
us, a podcast in the middle of the pandemic. Like this is something you and I both wanted to do, and
yeah.
I think our creativity is still there. I just think that people just know how to protect it more often.
Yeah, and I think that maybe the markers, many times scientists are looking for trends across the decades.
Mhm.
And so maybe the kind of creativity that they're looking for is not the kind of creativity we're exhibiting because, as we always say, we're in a digital age now.
Right.
And so the kind, like the podcast, the YouTube, we have YouTube channels, both of
Mhm.
us. I mean, we're over here creating ourselves crazy,
Absolutely.
but
Absolutely.
we're not inventing a new model of a car or a fan or those kinds of things.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely. So I was wondering, and I don't, and that's another thing because I was wondering when they were saying creative, like about like the future of a car. So we already know cars run on gas and some run on electricity, but are they saying that they're not seeing the future past that? Like, is it running on water now? Like, are we going past? Like, I feel like the
are
bigger
we
the
back to the future? I want to see one running off banana peels and
see
compost.
compost, right?
Yeah.
But are we not showing our creativity because on social media it shows you people? I don't know if you see. I think I've sent it to you. Like all the people that really created great things, like the person who created the real vaccine or something like that for
Black
COVID
lady.
died. You know, there was a guy who created a car off of water, died. There was a guy who
Yeah, they're so busy killing you and taking your
and
invention.
I was thinking, is that why it looks like we're less creative? Because people are afraid that, oh my God, I have this amazing invention that can help save society, the world, or whatever, but they're gonna kill me, so I just won't put it out there. And like,
That's a really good point, especially if
I'm
it's
that
something that will undercut the sale of gas,
Mhm,
electric,
mhm.
water, because there was a young black boy in Ghana, I want
Yeah,
to say,
yeah.
that created some kind of car out of wood, and I
Mhm.
don't know what the heck that little boy used. And then people came on Instagram, typing in a comment,
Oh yeah.
protect him,
Oh
because as
yeah.
soon as you come up with something that's going to stop their profits, they're going to take
Mhm.
you out, including, like we were saying with Dr. Sabi,
Yeah.
people, all the natural paths, they will take you out. So if you
That's another
come up,
one. That's another creativity. Like,
yeah,
there's got to be another Dr. Sabi out there. He's younger. He's just as wise. He's even went past what Dr. Sabi could do. But is he's afraid? Is he or she afraid? I don't mean to say he. He, I mean as mankind. I don't always mean sexuality, but
right.
as mankind, there's another Dr. Sadie has been created. That's just the way the law works of the land. That
That
there's
is,
another one out
that
there, but
is,
is he
that,
suppressing his love for what he does because he there was a blueprint that came that didn't end up the way he wanted it to, which is the assassin. We know he was assassinated, you know. So that to me is what one of the other things that looks like we're suppressing our creativity.
I would agree with that. Yeah, I think that at the end of the day, I think we're just as creative as ever, and in
Have
some
to
ways
be.
even more creative. But it's just number one, like you're saying, they're suppressing it and hiding it, and number two, it's in different ways, so it may
Yeah.
not be as visible. All
And
right,
can we
so
give a shout out to our new spelling bee? I cannot pronounce her name, so I'm not even going to try it. But she is from Louisiana, and she's our first African American, and I just was so excited. I literally follow it
is she the
every year.
first? Is
She's
she the first Black person to win?
the first young Black lady.
Oh,
Yeah.
I saw that she won. Everybody's all great. I mean, all excited about it.
Oh
Definitely
yeah.
shout out to the young sister. Congratulations. Black excellence,
Yep.
making us proud. I mean,
Absolutely. I always tell everyone I entered in the spelling bee. My word was encyclopedia. I spelled it right. And then for some reason during my era, they said, okay, you have to spell it again. And the second time I
oh,
decided to go off of brain instead of repetition,
memorization.
which is ENCYCLOPEDIA. I should have just said it like that again, but I wanted to actually see if I knew how to spell it. And I
That
got
wasn't the time for that.
so whenever the spelling bee comes out, I'm watching it every year and I'm into it. So yeah.
Okay, well, yes, congratulations. So, this is our new format. We're a minute and 58
Mhm.
seconds left. I think we can move on to topic two, and I'll just set us again for 15 minutes and see where we go. Topic two is, how long has Hollywood known the truth and put it in our faces without us realizing it?
I believe that I was misguided, and I can say I can start with our parents because they were giving us knowledge as far back as I saw a clipping on TikTok where it was given to us in comedy, but it was with Richard Pryor, and he was saying, "Oh my God, I found this book. It's all Black people. We did everything. We built the pyramids. We did this. We invented brain surgery." And when he was saying that stuff, it was like I was getting hit in the gut. Like, you knew. How did my parents didn't know? And if they did know, why didn't they repeat what you said? And it was said as a comedy, so it wasn't true. It was so many emotions when I heard how long that truth was right in our face. And I kept thinking, well, we have the internet, so that's how I know.
Mm-hmm.
What did he have? Who told him? I mean, I know he had a pilgrimage and I know he went back to Africa, but
Mm-hmm.
did they tell him then? And did he try to say, I'll give as many people who were woke back then the knowledge that I know, and I'll give it to him in comedy? Because like we were saying in George Carlin's incident, he was even saying knowledgeable stuff, and I was cracking up
Mm-hmm.
laughing my butt off.
Mm-hmm.
But when I go back now and look at it, I don't laugh at all. I'm just like,
How did he know? And then as I noted, George Carlin died in 2008.
yes, he
And
did.
we're in 2021. That means he was dropping knowledge a couple decades ago, because it was before he died that he
Oh,
started doing that. And the
oh,
ones that I remember, my mother and I used to find it humorous, but really true, when he would do these whole routines about materialism in America and how we're just buying houses to put more stuff in, stuff that we never use, stuff that we're accumulating. Then we get a storage room to put more stuff in so we can buy more stuff. And it was so funny, but it's also very true.
it's true.
It's very true.
Now, did you
And
know it was truth back then or comedy? I only saw comedy.
we know it was truth about buying containers and
Mhm.
houses and
Yeah,
garages, and he called it to store our stuff.
yeah.
We knew that was true, but he was saying a lot of other things
Oh, yeah.
when you look back about politics and all that. Back then, I think most of us had blinders on. I didn't really get it. I mean, like, I got it, but I didn't get it the way we get it now. It was
Yeah.
funny. It sounded true, but it wasn't as poignant. Like
Mhm.
you said, like that gut punch, like,
Yeah.
geez, he knew all that time. He knew.
I believe he was Jane Elliott then, who Jane Elliott is now, as far as telling us about exactly how the pecking order has been. I feel
Yeah.
like he started it. He gave us the knowledge, and if you knew, if even if you had a little wokeness, you saw it. I had no wokeness. I literally just became woke thanks to social media, the internet, and all. No. I shouldn't say that. What I'm saying is, I felt something always inside of me. There was always something about biblically. There was always something about Egyptians and the heat, and white people supposedly you've been in that heat trying to build these things. It was always something inside of me that had a question mark, but there was no one feeding that question mark for me. There was nobody flowering it, soiling it, watering it. There was no one there. So as time has gone on, I go back and I look at all of these things and they just hit me in the gut. All of the comedies of back then just hit me in the gut. And I'm just like, I was laughing so hard that I failed to acknowledge the facts.
Well, even like Bill Cosby, are you the one who sent me that post from Bill Cosby where they're showing that he's showing the old ancient African artifacts, and then
Yeah.
saying, well, Picasso got this from here. Look at this. And,
Yes.
going through all their so-called famous painters and showing that basically they were replicating
Yeah.
things that previously had been done in Africa. And he wasn't joking. He was
He
giving
wasn't
a
joking.
lecture,
He was
like, look
giving
at
a lecture.
this and look at that.
Yep.
Um, yeah,
Bill Cosby was woke. The
oh,
person
Bill
who
Cosby has been woke.
he
Yeah.
was, I mean, he literally, when he went through the whole thing, and I just was like, even he's a comedian. So it was like, we can't interview any of them now, probably, and ask, well, we can't, the ones who's passed away, but now the ones who like Bill Cosby probably would never even speak on that anymore. But it's like, you were awoke, you knew, you tried to give us knowledge, and you knew you had to do it in this athletic form of comedy. How did you expect us to get it when we were buffooned already? You know what I'm
Well,
saying?
maybe we weren't supposed to get it then. This is a special time on the planet. Maybe it's supposed to be out there, and we heard it and it seemed funny. And I mean, it struck a chord, but it didn't get us the way it does now. But
Yeah.
maybe he needed to put it out there. So when we did start waking up,
Mhm.
that was there. and we could understand it and we could process it and we could build on it. But it's not just comedy, it's also music. Remember, we talked about Earth, Wind, and Fire.
Oh,
Honey,
yes.
if you listen to Earth, Wind, and Fire is on another level. Like,
Another
well, they're
level.
talking about dimensions. Oh, remember that song, The Fifth Dimension?
Yes.
I can't remember it now, but that was the Age of
Age of
Aquarius.
Aquarius is
The
one.
stuff that
Yes.
you listen to those lyrics, you're like, oh my God, how do you even know
How did
this
you
way
know
back
this?
then?
Like, who told y'all and who stopped it from getting to us? Because I know you knew it. I knew, like I said, Richard Pryor and Bill Cosby and all of them. I knew you, but who stopped the?
They didn't stop
Did
us.
you
We
not want us
sang
to?
those songs. We laughed at that comedy.
Okay.
We sang those songs. Back then, the lyrics would be on the album jacket.
Okay.
We sang it with, we just didn't understand the
Mhm. I
significance
mean, even
of
like
what
George
they were
Clinton, the
saying.
mothership, the
Oh, yeah,
mothership.
yeah, yeah. Yeah,
You know
yeah.
what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
we looked at it like it was getting high, and he's talking about the mothership of smoking and chilling out. No,
He
it was so
was,
much
though.
deeper.
He
He
was
was,
talking
but
about
where did
that, but
he
it
even
had a
get
dual
it from?
meaning.
You
Yes, it
know what
had
I'm
a dual
saying?
meaning.
It
Yeah.
had dual meanings. That's what I'm saying. It had dual meanings, and then they didn't take it any further, or whoever was supposed to get the message didn't take it any further, I should say.
Or we don't know that. I mean, maybe it wasn't for us at that time, but there are other people who are way more woke than we've ever been. I mean, not than we've ever been, but that, you
I
know,
think so.
they're
I think
ahead of
they were
us. I
way
think
more
I'll
woke.
get there. I'm on the path, but
Mhm.
there are people who are well more advanced. Maybe they were getting it and processing it, and it wasn't for us at that time because I mean, I just didn't get it, but it's in movies and it's in TV shows too.
Mhm.
The reality is they always put out the truth. The question is, are you gonna understand it? Like apparently Avatar
Mhm.
contains some fundamental truths. We know
That's what I said.
The
Yeah.
Matrix contains truths.
But
There are just
who
so
has
many
this
movies.
knowledge? Who has the fundamental knowledge? But they give it to Hollywood, and they tell Hollywood, you can give them this much, or Hollywood says, I'm going to give them this much. Who has that knowledge that they don't want us to know? And what would it be so bad if we did know?
Oh, girl, that's a whole can of worms. Okay, with respect to Hollywood, who's
Mhm.
feeding it to them? The ruling class
Okay.
um controls all the media. Like I did a video on my YouTube channel before I
Mhm.
started doing all those Gambian videos, and it
Mhm.
was called the mass media. And
Okay.
I broke down how like six companies pretty much
Oh yeah.
own 90% of all the media outlets
Mhm.
in this country, perhaps across the globe. But those people are able to feed a certain amount of information. If Time Warner owns 150 TV stations, radio stations, newspapers, whatever, then they feed what they want. They own Columbia Pictures, they own everything. Then they're able to feed that limited amount of information that they're willing
Mhm.
to release. Oh, um, they own Simon and Schuster, they own books. These companies own all of the information pretty much that's being disseminated to us, except for maybe that little 10% that is independent. They put it in books. So, I told you coming up probably from preteens through my mid 30s, I read 4 or 5 novels a week. That's
Did
what I
say
did.
that.
I just read,
I don't
read,
know
read.
how you did it.
There were always suggestions or about, people about very powerful men, white men in particular, meeting in a room and deciding the fate of the globe. But it was never presented, I don't know, it was
Are you
factual
talking
in
about
the
like the
context.
Rothschilds or also the media? Like the
No, like the
Rothschilds.
Rothschilds, the all of those
Mhm.
families,
Mhm.
those 6 or 8 bloodlines that are
Mhm.
running everything that all the presidents are related to, all that,
Mhm.
all that.
Mhm.
Those people is or the Bilderberg group.
Yeah,
That's the kind of thing that they were suggesting, but it was real in the context of some fiction novels because I don't read anything much now, but I didn't read a lot of nonfiction. It was always fiction,
Mhm.
but looking back, I know now that it was true. And I remember sometimes I would say, that's what they do. I would say to like my mother, what if it really is true?
It's true. I
There's a
used to
group of
say that too.
people
That's
who are
so
running the
weird.
world. Yeah, but it is, but we didn't get it. But we saw it, if we discussed it, but we didn't understand. It didn't resonate. The truth of it didn't resonate with us.
That is so crazy because it's so many like cartoons now that I look at now that it's on the
Yes.
internet and they tell me what I saw and I remember being uncomfortable about something, not just knowing what it was. Now I look back and I'm like, that's why I didn't like Alice in Wonderland. I never liked that movie.
I
I
never
don't
liked
care
that
how many
either.
times it was remade or whatever. I tried to watch it because I needed to know. Then when I found out it was about child molestation, I was like, no wonder I always hated that movie.
You
So
know, some movies that I didn't watch that apparently are full of truth. The Ring, that whole series about the
I
ring,
never got into that, so I'm gonna go back and try that. My
the
son used to try to
Hobbit,
get me to watch it, and I didn't.
something about the Hobbit, that movie
Yep.
or book or
Lord
whatever,
of
is
the
supposed
Rings.
to be full of truth. There are a lot of that stuff that I never really paid attention to, but the ones that I did were flashing information right in front of my face, and I understood it, but I didn't process it on a conscious level about this is what's actually going on in our world.
But if you look at it and you say to yourself, like what I did with when they went to Pandora, I always said, what if that was true? And how could somebody brain conceive that? What knowledge do they have? Because it's easy to be creative and visualize, you can teleport yourself from here to China. That's easy to be creative and think of something like that. But to actually make it look like something, you know what I'm saying?
So that's what I wanted to say too, is that because you asked this question, how do they even get the knowledge to
Yeah.
know it? The reality is that the knowledge is from Africa, from
Mhm.
the mystery schools
Mhm.
in Egypt and all that kind of thing. And as we know, they go over there, they dig up the artifacts, they burn down like the Alexandria Library, they hide the knowledge, they put stuff under the Vatican. These are all the things we've heard. I don't know if they're true, but I do know that a lot of the stuff has been burned down and destroyed and dug up. And, when they dig, first of all, they need to stop. But when they dig something up from Egypt, they scurry it away to the Britain, to Great Britain, to here, to there. They don't share that with us. So I personally think, and I think I know some others who think this as well, that they have learned our knowledge, secreted it from
Mhm.
us, and then use it to run the world. And it's a lesser form of what the authentic knowledge is, but it's enough feeding off our energy to
Mhm.
run the world with it, to feed back a little bit of it to us at a time. But I
Mhm.
think that's originally our information, meaning Black folks, Kemet, whatever Alkebulan, whatever you want to call it.
Mhm. Mhm.
My opinion.
So, okay, so I know this is just a tad bit off topic, but I don't know if you saw the killing of the Haitian president.
I did.
And from what I'm hearing, that this was nothing new. Like these things that are happening are planned events. And so, not saying Hollywood technically already had this, but I believe I heard that like South Park or one of those cartoons had already even had this, like like with the holes in the water and the burning in the seas, like in the Haitian. I heard that one of those. I mean, I don't know. Like I said, I take everything with a grain of salt, but I was seeing on social media that these all these things were already pre-said years ago.
Well, they do that in The Simpsons. The Simpsons is known for that.
Maybe it was The Simpsons.
It's
Maybe
The
it was The Simpsons.
Simpsons. The Simpsons, they wonder if that creator is time traveling. I mean, people have said all kind of stuff because that cartoon or whatever that is, that I don't watch it, that
Yeah.
series is known for having truths. And they have one where Disney owned 20th Century Fox. I mean, things that at the time we would be like, come
Come
on.
on.
And now it's happened and it's real.
Well, I know people who actually said they saw the someone just sent me this just the other day that they saw the oils, or not even oils. There was just something inside the ocean that was on fire because no one could understand
The
how
Simpsons
is
showing up.
water on fire. So they said the Simpsons already had that, and they sent me the video, and I'm just thinking, how? And it was all the things dealing with the Haitian president. All of that was like tied in. And I'm just like you said, are they time traveling? Because how can you make it happen just because you
They
see
show Trump waving like that in the certain coming
signs?
up the
Yeah.
escalator, and then in real life, who would have ever thought
No,
Trump would be president? You couldn't have convinced us, but the Simpsons knew it all. Okay, that's our 15 minutes. We can always come back next week and do a part two on this, but it's time to move on
yes.
to topic number three. And topic number three is the male reaction to the word no. And this is actually kind of serious because my daughter knows a young girl
Mm-hmm.
around their ages um, who a male down south tried to talk to her when she was on her way into the Waffle House,
Mm-hmm.
and she rejected his advances, not even in a rude way. She just knows she's not interested, and he kicked her car. See, that was a sign. But
Mm-hmm.
she went on into Waffle House, ate her food, came out. When she came out, oh, a young woman walked up to her and said, "What did you say to him?" and pointed to that guy. And she repeated it. I just said, they always have something to say after you say no. And the guy was over there and said, "Hit her, fam, hit her." And this girl hit that young lady who had said no. And then this is the horrible part: carloads of people jumped out and beat this girl up because she said she refused this guy's advance. She didn't curse him out. She didn't call him out of his name. She just was not interested. And I can't really stop thinking about it because as a woman, it is such a problem. We should be able to say, "I'm not interested," and not be, and you remember back in the day, all you old B and all that, they really have a hard time just understanding that I'm not the one for you. There may be someone else, but this woman right here is not interested. And I just wanted to, it just really troubles me. And I just wanted to explore that topic
Well,
of males reacting to being turned down when they shoot their shot.
I'm just speaking on black males because that's all I dated. So I'm speaking on what my experience was. That has been the tale of time. And every time when I was younger and you meet a guy and he say, do you have a boyfriend? You say yes. And you say, well, he has a whole line, well, if y'all not happy, take my number. If he ain't treating you right, call me, whatever, whatever. But then there's this different guy who, if you say you have a boyfriend, he's not trying to hear it. He doesn't care. That's rejection. And he feels some kind of way. And then you try to express that to your spouse or your boyfriend, and you telling him, like, you don't understand. I took the number, because if you say no to these guys, they zap out on. It's been the tale of all. And there's good men who just don't believe that. I guess their friends didn't show them that side. They're not that side, but that has been the tale for so long. I've never not heard that story. I know that story so well in my own. I've had a gun pulled on me. Like, there was a guy who literally, and that's kind of how my husband and I met, because I gave him the wrong number. So he rechecked. It was like, "I'm sorry, I tried to call you, but the number didn't work." And I said, "Oh, that's my dyslexia." I said, because I would always flip the last two numbers. So I could tell a guy that, "Oh, no, 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 that's my number. Call me." That's oh, no, you know what? I flipped the last two numbers. I'm dyslexic. You know what I'm saying? So the guy would flip them, call me, my phone would ring in front of him, and he'd be like, yeah, my so, yeah, I know about that dyslexic stuff. Y'all be flipping numbers and stuff. That would be my go-to thing, just in case, because I didn't want to give you my number, but I was afraid not to, because like I said, I had a gun pulled on me. There was a guy who had a gun in the front of his jeans, under his shirt. I gave him the wrong number. He came back with the gun, flipped out of his pants pocket, like, so I could see it, and was like, "Yo, you gave me the wrong number." I was like, "I did?" I was like, "Oh my God, I just got a new phone number. I just got a new phone number. Give me here. This is my." He's like, "You sure? You sure it was?" I said, "No, seriously. If you call the old number, I guarantee you they'll tell you." And that was my other line that I used to have. I used to give people my old number. So if they did call, the person who answered, like, "Yeah, people call here asking for Torra all the time." So just to get me out of dead situations. But I've had that happen to me. And I remember going, "Thank you." So he literally called the old number
Mm.
in front of me. And there was this nice Caucasian guy who answered. And I say nice because he could have easily been like, "No, no," but he was like, "Yeah, I'm just saying, did this used to be a girl named Tora number? Because I'm calling, and he's like, yeah, a lot of people have been calling asking for her and her sister. And it was so funny because I would tell people my name was my sister name, which is Torsia,
Oh,
just to get me. I mean, I'd be all in the clear if I had somebody had to call my phone. Like a guy call my phone, be like, hello, may I speak to Torsia? Be like, no, she's not here right now. So
okay.
my boyfriend would be like, who's that? I'd be like, some guy. And I had to tell him the story. I had to give him my sister's name to let, that's my cue that he's a crazy person. But
That's
I had to give him
horrible.
my real number. For women, it is dead hard.
It's
Guys,
horrible. And you know what? You just brought up something that I totally
mhm,
forgot about. When I was in undergraduate school, there was a law student, a black guy at the University of Wisconsin who was obsessed. And I remember this now. He was coming over to, I shared this apartment, like we had our own bedroom and a kitchen, whatever, like a suite.
mhm.
And I shared a suite just slightly off campus. He was coming over, banging on my door. I was afraid. I remember being
Of course.
afraid of him and talking to a guy that I was dating about it at the
Mhm.
time, who I think went and checked him or whatever. But I forgot about that, about, that happening to me. And I'm sure there are probably some other instances too that I just
Right.
don't remember, because men can be really, uh,
Obsessive.
yeah, just
Yes.
like psycho.
Abusive
When
and
you say
obsessive.
abusive and
Mhm.
psycho, I remember clearly when we would be walking down the street, we learned to say, "How you doing?"
Mhm.
And they say, "What's up, shorty?"
Yep.
That's a
You
DC
ain't gonna
thing, or
speak. You ain't gonna speak. Like,
yeah,
no, no, no.
you
I'm
know,
sorry. I was daydreaming. I didn't even hear you. I'm sorry. Hi, how you doing? It's
it
like
goes
you gotta
into a
have your game
total
on.
tirade. So we learn to say, "How you doing?" and like keep it moving. How you
Yeah.
doing? Keep it moving. You just got to keep it moving, but you have to speak, because if you don't, you could be every B and whatever in the book.
And I want to know, why is it? And I, like I said, there could be other races. There could be other people. I didn't have that experience with other races. I only
Yeah, I
had it
don't
with
date
my
them.
black
I don't
males.
know.
But I know that, of course, none of my siblings, my son isn't like that at all. But what I want to know is, who raises those guys? Who raises
Mhm.
those guys to feel like rejection is got to be so detrimental to your ego? It's like, there's so many reasons. Some girls just awkward and they just don't want to talk to guys. I mean, when I say awkward, like they just don't feel comfortable. So if you get rejected by a female, or it's well, I shouldn't even say rejected. If you get told you're not trying to talk to a female's not trying to talk to you, why are you taking it as rejection on your part? It could be just rejection on her part.
It could just be lack of chemistry. We get to like who we like and
Yeah.
not like who we don't
Yeah.
like. And just because you approach us doesn't mean that we have to date you, marry you, have kids by you, and run off in the sunset. Now, we need to be respectful in
Mhm.
how we say no, thank you. Or we all
Absolutely.
have made of that. I have a man, I've worn daggone fake wedding ring to
See?
the
See?
club so that I can just dance and be left alone
I
sometimes.
would do
You
this
know
thing.
what I'm
We
saying?
all did the same thing. We would say
Yeah,
when we're going out, we put on our fake rings, be like, no, I'm married,
yeah.
my husband's coming. Yep.
Yeah, and the thing that I was thinking about when you said them calling the number, now they do that
Oh
right
yeah.
on the cell phone. You give them that number, they call
On
you.
the
It needs to
spot.
be ringing in your purse. I'm sick of all that. I just say no. Like in Africa, you know what? There came a point when I started saying, I'm not giving out my number anymore. I made a decision that I wasn't giving out my number
Mhm.
anymore. Now, I have to say, in that particular country, nobody gave me any harsh reaction. But in this country right here, the
Oh yeah.
US of good old A, they
Yeah,
go
I've
off.
definitely been called the B word or two out in
Mhm.
public by some guy who I said, I'm sorry, I have a boyfriend, and then I go. I mean, it becomes demeaning to me. Like, you can't get a man. You don't have no. You don't have no
Oh,
man.
wow, they're going for the jugular, huh?
Oh, they would just beat me down after that. And I used to be like, oh my God, it's not that serious. No, I really do. And there was a period, it was a short period, but it was a period where I just wanted to be single. And that short period of time was the worst time of I actually sit there and think of that. That was the worst time of my entire life, trying to just be single. And I know that sounds braggadocious because I know I see it all
No,
the time.
that's how it is. That if you have, we're attractive women. If you're attractive, you're gonna get that. I
It
mean, I
was the
remember
worst.
having a whole name, Jacqueline. And
Really?
so they would say, like, what's your Jacqueline? So whenever I was out with my girls and we hear somebody calling Jacqueline, I knew it was me.
Yep.
And it was somebody that I didn't want to talk to. I would turn around or whatever because I know I used to tell people my name was Jack Min.
I was Diamond. I was Diamond. That was my street name. So my friends would all know. You know what I'm saying? That was. It's funny how we all our sisters share the same mo for like trying to be deterrent when we don't. When you just want to hang out with your friends, you just want to
Or
have a
you
good
just
time.
don't like them. I mean, that's the thing that I think really needs to be stated. You don't have to like everybody who approaches you the
Yeah.
same way. Sometimes we like a certain man, be like, I wish he would come up. And
Yep.
they don't, because they
And
just
they
don't like
don't.
us. I
They
mean,
don't.
everybody doesn't like everybody.
And
But
nowadays, I wouldn't even know how to date because the game is so polluted. Like,
mm,
you know what I'm saying? There's guys who try to get with you who like other guys too, and it's like I was just
that piece.
looking at that on social media now, and I feel like the guy was saying that that's borderline because remember the last podcast we were doing how the guy went into the lady spa and
Mhm.
claimed that he identified with being a woman, but he still had his private parts, and it was exposing itself. So my thing is this: when you have the dating pool is like that, it's like
Mhm.
I feel like that is borderline, you know,
Well,
rape.
that's a bigger problem.
You
I
know what
mean,
I'm saying?
that's a problem of huger proportions, and you got to rely on your instinct and everything in you to make sure because that kind of thing
But
could
now
destroy
as
you.
but now as women, we can get equally as mad. You know what I'm saying? Like we can get equally as mad that these guys are posing as men in our definition of a man,
You
and they're
talking
not.
about down low men?
Yes,
Oh yeah,
yes.
that's a
Like
whole. We
that's
need
what
to
I'm
have
saying.
a discussion, make that a topic because that's a whole nother topic. I mean, it impacts people who
How do
get in
we just
prison,
eliminate
all
that
kinds of
from the
people.
jump? How do we tell you meet a guy and you say right up front, hey, are you straight? Like, do you only mess with, like, can you imagine what we used to go through telling them no, we don't want to date you. And now we got to add another layer onto that going, well, if I do give you my number, are you all about women? Because I'm not
I
into
don't
the
think
men.
you can ask anybody that, but you know what? It occurs to me there was a whole hip hop song about it, and you say, "I got a man. What your man got
Man,
to
got to
do with
do with
me? I
me.
got a
Got
man.
a man.
I'm not trying to
Trying to
hear
hear
that."
that. G.
And we all sang it. It's a cute little
Yup.
song, but there's a
It was
darker
sad.
meaning. Yeah, because they weren't trying to hear that.
Yep. They
I
were.
don't know about the down low piece. I feel like that's a whole nother level of something, and it has gotten more and more prominent over the years. It's a really, I mean, I have a little bit of a radar. I have some people who have tried to talk to me, and
Mhm.
I have said to a girlfriend or two, he's too effeminate for me. It might be the way he speaks, the way he moves the hand,
Mhm.
something he says, and my everything just starts blinking, and I'm like,
Mhm.
nah, can't do it. I don't even care if I'm wrong because there are some straight men who raised by, a lot of them are raised by women, and they may have some little
Oh
mannerisms.
yeah.
You're gonna lose me every time because as soon as I see
Look at
any of that,
Tupac.
I'm out. I'm
You couldn't
out.
get any harder than Tupac, but if you look at some of his interviews and pictures, he's very comfortable with being feminine. He'll tell you it's because I was raised by my mother and sister. I picked up on a lot of their ways, but
And with those long eyelashes he had
yeah,
too.
you being beautiful and being feminine, it's like I know he got hit on. I know
Hmm.
he got hit on from both spectrums.
Hmm. All right, so we're doing pretty well. We have a minute and 44 seconds left for that topic. So I guess we can move on to our final topic,
Okay.
which is Black TikTok. There's a lot going on with Black.
I'm proud of it. If it takes if it gets up and running the way regular TikTok works, I'm gonna be a big fan because of the simple fact that I'm a creator on TikTok and my children are creators on TikTok, and um, I see the injustice. I
That's
don't
what
see
I
the
was meaning.
racism as much, and the reason why I don't see the racism as much because I broke this down in when my children were in gymnastics, when people would actually come up to me and say, why is this happening to you and your family? And I said, because we're not the masses. We're one of many. We're one of a lesser many because you have 30 white women who pay the same amount that I pay. and here I am, this one black woman who has a problem with the way things are going, who do you think you're going to cater to? The 30 white women that are paying your bills, keeping your lights on, putting food on your table, or this one black woman who's being targeted and being, scrutinized, and her family's being treated like this? Like, it doesn't work like that. So I know TikTok are saying these white girls are paying our bills. These white girls is putting these mansions and
No. You
so
think?
they
You think?
no, I
I
know
think
that's
that
the
the
nature.
world
I
is
know that's the
racist.
nature of the sick business. I know because the white girls are getting the content from the black people. And if
Right.
the black people were supporting and the white people were supporting the black people the way they support the white people, then they would definitely give it to us. But they're not. It's not a whole conglomerate. So they're not going to support us. They're not. And
Yeah,
they're
I never saw it that way. I never saw it. So I've been seeing a lot of Black people come on TikTok complaining. Now, obviously, we know about them culturally appropriating the dances that were created by Black choreographers and going on Jimmy Kimmel and all of that. But that is, to me, an inherent part of white supremacy because if you're going to feature somebody who did a dance, you know daggone well that little skinny girl half doing it, not even correct, did not create it. If you're going to reach out and bring somebody on your show, why don't you bring a Black TikToker? There are people like you with more than 1 million likes. We know who those people are. They know who that's part of racism. So I'm going to overlook the Black person who created it and pick a little lily white person to bring on my TV show because that's
because
racism.
that is the person who is going to bring the audience. It's sick. It's sick. Don't get me wrong. I'm not okay in it. But okay, so we black people love chicken. You can say whatever you want, but we love it.
Most
You
of I
can
used to
open a
eat.
chicken spot, and next door can be an Asian company that sells chicken. You could not going to tell me that we're going to support the black community and the white community is going to support that black chicken spot and not complain and not say they can get more chicken from the Asian spot because the whole business is corrupt. What I'm saying is the Asian people can get the chicken for cheaper. The Asian people can give you more for your money. The black people are not going to be able to get the prices that they get it for, so they have to charge more and the quality has to be. So it's a whole line that we have to support. Now back in the Green Book days, we supported that line. You only shopped from where you were, your own people because you had to keep the businesses going. Now we are so spoiled in reality. Well, it's not really reality, but we're spoiled in whatever this thing is that we don't support our own. So if we as black people know, right, that this black girl created this beautiful dance, we all are doing it. We all know she did it because we got it from her. Didn't we? Oh no, you knew she did it because there was a smart white girl out there who knew this girl was talented. You didn't see her yet, but this white girl knew. So she took the dance, she put it on her $1 million platform, major, huge platform that was given to her by her white people. So it took off. Now, black, white, Asian, Hispanic, everybody's looking at this girl do this dance. But is it up to her to say, hey guys, I stole it from her.
So
I
there's
stole
a
it from
couple of
her,
things.
or I borrowed it from her, and she also deserves accolades too. Because I think that's how it should be. Because I feel like if we as black people took something, they would sue us for copyright infringement off the break. They would definitely sue us for that. They would be like, hold on, that's my dance, that's my song, that's my lyrics, that's my tune. I'm coming to get my money. They would definitely do that. But I feel like as black people, we don't put forth the effort in the fight to fight for what's ours. I don't think that a lot of black people got together and said, okay, they did. They did go on a hiatus where they stopped doing their dances and stopped being creative for a little while. But then they got right back to business as usual. And it's like, no, you can't do that.
So are the white people still appropriating the dances?
Are they inappropriating the dances?
Are they still taking over the dances and doing the
Oh yeah, they went
challenges?
as soon as the black people started back their dances and creativity. Oh yeah, yeah.
But
They
see,
went.
I think like with your chicken example, that it's a
Mhm,
little different on TikTok because on TikTok, all you have to do is create and put it on the platform. You don't
mhm,
have to buy any raw materials. You don't have to sell a certain amount of product. You don't
mhm,
have to price anything. in a brick and mortar business, what you said makes sense. And we hear those kinds of arguments a lot. They don't
Mhm,
want to buy from the black restaurant because they don't have the same prices, or the black
mhm.
beauty supply, or what have you, even though people like me are going to pay a little extra just to support black. But I
Absolutely.
get that a lot of people are not. But when it comes to TikTok, all we have to do is watch a well, 3 minutes now, but a 1 minute video, and click like, and maybe give a comment. There's no nothing. There's no product.
on a
There's
business
nothing.
on a business standpoint, there's an algorithm. So if I'm watching TikTok and I stay longer than 2 seconds, that algorithm told you, me, and whoever else that needs to know this. I spent 2 seconds longer on this video. So that I keep that in the pile. Then the next video, I spend 5 seconds longer watching it. So that one goes in the pile. But the one I just say, not interested, keep going, scroll, scroll, they don't get put in. So what
That's
I'm
all the
saying,
white videos for me. I know that I'm not typical. I scroll through, I don't want to see that crap. There are a few white people that I really like, who
mhm,
are really
mhm,
dropping knowledge, and
mhm,
I will watch them. But all that other old crap, and there's some black TikTokers now who are on there saying
mhm,
this thing is what this platform is running off of our energy. How many times? And
mhm.
they say, look at these white people's accounts and see where they come on and pick up something from a black person and comment on it, sometimes negatively,
Mhm.
just to generate controversy and to generate views.
That
And,
is a
and
fact.
they say, look at their account before they
Yep.
picked up our content,
Mhm.
and look at it after, and we have made them. And they're like, stop going on there responding. Let them say whatever they want, and let it lie right there and die.
But
And don't
that
build
is
up
true.
their platforms.
I've had I've had black people and I've had white people get try to cancel my platform.
What you mean
Oh,
try to cancel?
oh, they report it and then my content will get taken down and then I have to appeal it. And there was a lot of people doing that to me and for no reason. Like it was crazy. But TikTok also looks through your content and they see if you violated or you didn't violate. So there's a lot of black people who have said they've been in TikTok prison, is what they call it, because their content is frozen. They can't create, they can't make money off of it. And there's a lot of black people saying that their videos are getting reported. So when we do try to make it and we are coming up the ladder, there's a person out there or people out there that are hating so hard that they mess us up. And
And not
that's
only that, though, it's the platform itself. No, we've got to know that this platform was created in China.
mhm.
We've got to know, I
It's
certainly know
business.
that
It's
Asians don't
business.
like us. Asians don't love us. We can pretend all we want. They really don't like us. And so now there are black TikTokers going on there saying, look, I type black man, it says
Oh yeah, you
violation.
saw
You see
that?
that? All those, everything to do with black, ebony, whatever, with our culture, they say a violation, but they can say all other kind of stuff and it's perfectly fine. So I think it's a combination of things. I've seen black TikTokers now saying that their likes disappear. What's going on with TikTok today? They're pulling off likes. So they've had likes on the page that
Yeah, I
go,
think that happened to me a couple of times too.
I
Yeah.
mean, that's a whole lot of
I
things.
started writing down my number at one time because I was thinking, was I going crazy or did I have like 1,000 more yesterday? But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't know if it's people who de-like or the system that's I don't
Maybe
know.
both.
I
It
don't know
may
how
be
it's
both.
run, but I do believe that if we do have a black TikTok, if every single black person who's on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok and Snapchat support it, it can go through the roof. We could change the world with it. But if we're gonna be like, oh, it's lame, I got stuck, I couldn't get on, they get it. If we start complaining and doing what we know we do, this is called the what goes on in our house, stay in our house conversation, because we know we do it. So let's not even try to pretend, you know. We talk that talk. We say we want better. We say we want our own. But then as soon as somebody sets it up and gets it, we complain and we don't try to give time for perfection. And I do. I'm a problematic person. I agree. I've done the same thing. I tried to support a black bank one time, and there was no place to deposit the money, withdraw the money. It was so stressful, and I was like, y'all, I'm tried. I've tried, but you're not helping me. You're not saying, okay, well, you can go here. Because when I would go to places where they told me I could deposit the money, people were like, we're not affiliated with that bank. I'm like, but I had the letter right here. Can I call them while we're right here? They're saying that you're on their list. And it was so, I mean, literally, I had deposited about probably like $2,000 into this black bank that only had like, I think it was California and one other place. And I typed them a nice little letter and let them know. I said, listen, I tried. I couldn't get my money out. I couldn't put the money in. I couldn't do anything. And I transferred. Everything was on a transfer.
But
Right?
nowadays, that wouldn't be a problem. You can get the money out. You can use your debit card.
No,
So,
no.
maybe
Well, what
we
I'm saying
reduce
is the transfer took 3 days. So say if I needed the money, if I was just anywhere, I was at a casino and I wanted to pull my money out right then and there, I couldn't do it. I had to wait 3 days. It
But
was a
there was an
3 day.
internet bank thing called ING or something that ING. I had an account with that. You had to plan ahead too. It's like we have a different standard for black businesses because a lot of people did ING. You don't remember them?
No, I
ING
heard
was
of
that
that
with
bank, I
that
believe, with
orange,
the one with the lion, I believe. I
and it
heard of
was
it.
orange, something
Yeah.
orange. I don't have it anymore,
I
but
never
I
dealt with
remember we all did that. They claimed to give us higher interest and all that. So we can do it for those, but we can't do it for our own. But there's a social media app called Our Black Truth that they were saying was going to be the new black TikTok. I did download it. I'm not going to lie, I haven't gone on it. But as you know, I don't do a whole bunch. I go on there when I go on there, but
If they
we
show
got to
me,
figure out
if
something.
somebody shows me how to get on this or where it is, what's the name?
It's on the App Store. It's on the App Store, Our Black Truth. And then people were coming on. I'm trying to think. People
Mhm.
were coming
Well,
on
maybe we
saying,
can
yeah,
advertise it. I
yeah.
mean, I don't know if they appreciate it or not, but maybe we can just drop some knowledge to them and tell them that there's a new TikTok called, or there's a new like TikTok or Twitter called, because I know nothing about it. I've heard about it. I've heard that they're celebrities in the making and trying to get this thing off. And I would love for that to happen. No,
Hmm.
I know we have so many apps out there that they don't even tell us that they're black because they want to keep generating the money. And that's another sad thing, that a
Yep.
lot of black people don't even want to tell you something is black owned. Like I just want to kick this real quick. The most famous BMW that was ever created was created by a black man. I mean, it is the most creative, beautiful. Everybody wanted it. And then as soon as they found out it was a black man who created it, they got rid of him and they changed the look a little bit and they got another creator.
That's because these people are racist. Everything, not everything, but most of the things you're talking about come back down to their racist because
Mm-hmm.
it doesn't have to do with the quality of the product. The quality of the dance, the way the dancer dances it is obviously better if you're black. So the only reason they're not supporting it is because it's a black person. The
Mm-hmm.
quality of the BMW, the look, design, and feel of it obviously was superior. And when they didn't know it was black created, they supported it. That's racism to go around and say, oh, I don't want that now. An N-word did this. Oh, H, no. Come on now. So, I mean, that's not an answer to anything. It's just an observation. But I agree with
No,
you. We got to
know.
learn to support our own.
But
We,
are we willing to do that? Are
I
we
am.
willing
I do.
to
I do.
say, um, my hero, who I love, Kamala Harris, very much.
Yes, I
I
can't
heard her
stand her.
say, I heard her
Yeah,
say, I would be messed up to say I have a black agenda. I'm only doing stuff
I
specifically
don't fool with
for.
her. Anytime anybody says something like that, I have nothing to do with them. I have nothing for her at
And
all.
so, do you think that's words, or do you think that's the way somebody heart? Because
No,
I,
I think she said what she meant. And I did a post on the Biden Harris, I did a video on the Biden Harris delusion or something like that, I called it. And I showed a clip of her saying, am I going to do anything specifically for Black people?
right,
No.
right.
Okay, no. I'm done with her. I was done with her then. I don't want anything to do with her.
Okay,
Anybody who can't support us, I can't support them
so
because the only
how
way we're going to win is to unify.
okay. So my thing is this: how is it not support if you just want to live to survive another day to fight? And we all read since well, I shouldn't say we all read it, but The Art of War and
We are at war. We're
yeah,
at war.
and in the book The Art of War, he says, learn to live to fight another day. So my thing is,
Yes.
if we show everyone our hand as soon as we get there, how can we
No, ma'am.
Honestly compete.
No,
Tell
ma'am.
me how.
Kamala Harris was elected in part because she's a Black woman. To be elected because you're a Black woman and then come out of your mouth and say you don't want to do anything for Black people, you just want to live and all that, you're a fraud. You personally
You
can
know,
live to survive another day if that's what you wish to do, but we didn't all put you in office because you're a Black woman. When we put you in office because you're a Black woman, all those Black people, Black women wearing pearls and Converses and all that crap, and then you disavow any connection to us or any affiliation. I'm done with her. She's a
why can't we mental telepathy believe in our minds and heart like she's looking us with a wink and a nod like
no, ma'am.
I have
We
to say
don't need
this.
a wink and a nod. We need
Still,
you to
we
say what
still
you
run
need.
by the world who
No.
blew Kennedy's head off. We still run by that world. That world is still existed. So y'all, I gotta say and do what you gotta do. But trust me, I'm
No.
behind y'all back making moves. How come we can't say that?
Because number one, she's not behind our back making moves. She approved, she participated in the Asian hate crime bill, the LGBT, all that stuff. She's not done anything for us. What has she done behind our backs? Not a daggone thing. She's not doing anything. And it's a brand new world in 2021.
I
Actually,
don't
our
believe that.
timer,
I believe we
we
still
got to
in
pick
the
it up
same
next
world.
time. My timer went off like
Oh,
2 minutes ago,
I'm
but
sorry.
we need people to say what they mean and mean what they say. And if you don't, we don't need you. We can just have a white woman in there who's not afraid to say, I'm going to help my Black sisters. I don't need you if you're not going to work on our behalf. That's why we put you there. Don't do it behind the scenes because you're not gonna. And we need, as we know, images and words matter. They shape our perception of ourselves and each other. So I can't buy any of that. I'm done. I've been done with her.
So you don't buy the poker face.
I don't want the poker face. If you're going to be for us, be for us. If you're not, then don't. Don't try to pretend you're not and then do, or pretend you are and then don't. Be who you say you are. But we got to stop. We can pick this up and because that's interesting. We can, depending, I'm sure we'll have some more topics, but we can circle back around if we want to. Are there any, what do you think about this new format that we tried today? How did it work for you?
I love it. Very smooth. Got our points across and got a lot of topics in that we were able to complete our thoughts. So I love it.
Okay, great. Well, that's going to do it for this episode. We, as always, thank everyone for joining us. We really appreciate the fact that you're supporting us and participating in our podcast. And we can't wait to see you again next time.
Yes, like, follow, subscribe, everything. We need you all to support us because we are going to support you.
Absolutely. Have a good night.
Thank you.